Anyway, let's get started.
We will begin with that shocking mass shooting here in New York City.
We're going to talk about the CTE dude, the dude who drove all the way from Las Vegas to New York City to shoot up the NFL headquarters and then killed a cop that was off duty, that was doing security, killed himself, and I think like shot a bunch of other, killed 2 other people.
Police say a gunman walked right into the lobby of an office building and opened fire. 4 people are dead, including an NYPD officer.
You can see the suspect here carrying a military-style rifle. Police say he had a history of mental health issues.
Oh, it was the CEO, not the NFL. A Blackstone executive was killed. It's not BlackRock, it's Blackstone. And he wasn't trying to kill the Blackstone people. He was trying to go to the NFL part of the building, it seems, because from what we know, that's what it's in the same fucking building. So he went to the wrong floor. Blackstone is not BlackRock, and he wasn't trying to go to Blackstone anyway. It seems he was trying to go to the NFL building because he blamed the NFL for his CTE. No, it's not gambling related. No, he's just fucking. It's crazy. He's just crazy.
What do we know?
The building's security camera footage shows the shooter enter the lobby, turn right, and immediately open fire on an NYPD officer. He then shoots a woman who took cover behind a pillar and proceeds through the lobby, spraying it with gunfire. The shooter then calls the elevator, which opens in the lobby. A female exits that elevator, and he allows her to walk past him unharmed.
Police say he then went to the 33rd floor, home to the real estate company Rudin Management, where he killed 1 person before he shot himself in the chest. Police have identified the gunman as 27-year-old Shane Tamura. They say he had a documented history of mental health issues. He lived in Las Vegas and drove across country through Colorado Saturday night, then Nebraska and Iowa on Sunday, before reaching New Jersey Monday, about 2 hours before the shooting.
The reason why he shot himself in the chest is because he wants his brain to be studied for CTE. It seems like he had a litany of mental health issues. He played football. He was a prospect. He never played in the NFL. He was working in Vegas. I looked into his background. I guess he blames the NFL for it regardless. He didn't actually play in the NFL. It seems like that's what he was trying to target it. That's what he was trying to target, was the NFL. He ended up going to another floor and shooting up a bunch of people in the process and then killed himself.
One of the 4 victims was 36-year-old NYPD officer Didarul Islam, an immigrant from Bangladesh. Islam joined the NYPD in 2021. He had 2 young sons, and his wife is pregnant with their 3rd child.
He was doing the job that we asked him to do. He put himself in harm's way. He made the ultimate sacrifice. He died as he lived, a hero.
Is it plausible that he shot himself in the chest with an assault rifle? Yes. And I suspect the reason why he did that is because he didn't want to shoot himself in the head, because if his main gripe is CTE, he left a note. He left a note, and in the note he was talking about how he wanted people to study his brain. It's common for people with CTE. Also, this happened. 2 in custody after active shooter situation in Midtown. Police are responding to an active shooter situation in Midtown. And they made it seem like it was some Muslim dude or some dude wearing like a Palestine jersey or something. The man grabbed falsely ID'd by someone claiming he was trying to bomb the building. Casual Islamophobia is a widely beloved activist. He brings watermelon to protest and carries it the whole march, then breaks it up and feeds people. They just instantly went in and were like, oh, let's blame them. Let's blame some random brown guy. Classic. A woman falsely identified a man wearing a Palestine shirt as the shooter in this video. He was detained but completely uninvolved in the incident. Imagine you survive like a massive shooting. You survive a shooting and then some random lady, some random racist is like, yo, he did it. And then now half of the fucking media also really excited to point the finger of blame at like Muslims and the Free Palestine movement or whatever is now using your image to be like, yo, this guy did it. This is the actual shooter.
Police say he immediately opened fire inside the lobby and then moved to the elevator bank, went up to the 33rd floor, where he continued firing before ultimately taking his own life. This is the deadliest mass shooting in New York City in 25 years. Investigators have identified the gunman as 27-year-old Shane Tamura of Las Vegas. They've tracked his movements over the last few days as he drove from Nevada to Manhattan, parking just outside, double parking really just outside that building. Inside the building, the NFL's corporate offices, along with a number of other businesses. And a source does tell CNN the gunman had a suicide note in his pocket, which expressed some grievances with the NFL, also claiming to suffer from CTE and asking for his brain to be studied. Police, however, has stressed that at this point, any motive is still under investigation.
I mean, you already know, man. You already know what the solution to this is. It's not like people say, oh, better mental health. Sure. But the people who say better mental health treatment don't want to actually fund it anyway. And not only that, but also it's like too many guns, too many guns, too many guns, too many guns, too many guns. What are we doing? Too many guns. That has not gone away. I mean, I was just talking with Cameron Kasky yesterday about this on stream while this was happening. Cameron Kasky is one of the Parkland kids. Like, he spent most of his adult life advocating for gun control and getting yelled at for that reason. And we jokingly said, oh no, that's solved now. The problem is solved now. There's no more gun violence. There's no more mass shootings, but there is.
4 people are dead this morning, including a woman who worked at Blackstone. They're saying that she was a huge member of their community. Her family is obviously grieving. It's just a sad situation. And then we know the NYPD officer was also shot. He was standing in the lobby there, and you can see there's lots of security out in front today. This is what we know about that officer. His name is
Didarul Islam. He's from Bangladesh, and he is an immigrant. I think he has 3 kids. Wife is pregnant with a 4th on the way, and now he's dead. He was off duty, and he was doing protection there.
This breaks your heart when you see his face and you think about what he went through and what his family went through when they got that call. Married, 2 little boys, his wife pregnant with a 3rd kid. Originally from Bangladesh, and the NYPD says he was a man of faith who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Now how you react if it was a white cop? Brother, what are you talking about? There are plenty of instances where cops have actually fucking worked to stop a mass shooting. Like, it doesn't matter what the race of the cop is. Are you fucking stupid? What do I always say? This is the one time where cops are supposed to be fucking violent. Like, this is the instance. This is the appropriate instance. This is the whole purpose. Why are you guys so stupid that you immediately like racialize this? White cop, black cop, brown cop, doesn't fucking matter. This is the point of police. I think a lot of people just ascribe whatever kind of value that they think I have here and assume that like my assessment is like, oh no cops at all, at no point. Probably because there's a lot of anti-police shadows. I don't give a shit, dude. What do you mean? There's a variety of there's Nazis in this chat. Does that mean my position is reflective of Nazis? No. The conspiracy guys are in here. He got the Blackstone CEO. I think the note is fabricated. Dude, okay. I don't think you guys understand. Companies like this have a shit ton of executives, okay? You have to think, what is the point? Like, what is the purpose? Why would he just not say he's trying to kill the Blackstone CEO if that's the case? Meanwhile, the fact that he shot himself in the chest to commit suicide instead of in the head to commit suicide, and a note that was left behind that pointed to CTE, considering that the building is also the NFL building, all of those, you have to look at every single piece of evidence that is readily available before immediately rushing to the conspiracy. Yes, the profile of the victims is important. The profile of the victims is important. That's a major part of the evidence. That's a major piece. That's key evidence, right? To try to make an assessment on what the motives are. But a higher degree, like a piece of evidence as a higher value is the profile of the shooter. And also on top of that, like some of the actions that he took, and if there is a note that was left behind or not. And he somehow went to the 33rd floor rather than the 5th floor, just so happening to be the office of the building owner / real estate mogul in Blackstone. Yeah, I think the 33rd floor instead of the 5th floor where the NFL is because I suspect some of these buildings, you can go up to the building management office, which is where the 33rd floor is. It could also be that like someone actually pressed the 30, like those are pre-assigned. Like you have to be sent to a floor. If you've ever been in one of these buildings in New York City, I don't know the elevator, the type of elevators they have there, but some of them have elevators that take you up to a specific floor unless you have the badge. Yes, the reporter said the destinations are predetermined when you get on. Exactly. He may have thought that he was going up to the NFL floor, but he actually arrived at the 33rd floor. And then clearly he was just like interested in shooting as many people as possible regardless. You know how when you go to your friend's apartment or something, your apartment complex, and they have pre-assigned parking spots? It's kind of like that, like visitor parking spots for the management company. Many of those buildings, many of those commercial real estate buildings will also have the management company floor that you can go to freely without being badged in. It's kind of like that.
Were there any indications he was planning additional violence elsewhere in New York besides the Park Avenue office building?
Not at this time. We had a large number of bullets that were found in the car, but at this time, the investigation has not concluded if he was going to take more actions.
What about the medication that police found in his car? Did that have anything to do with the suspect's mental health issues?
It's still under investigation. As you can imagine, this is still...
Bro, shooting yourself in the chest when you're committing suicide in a situation like this is actually yet another major indication that this is like somewhat CTE related, or regardless of his mental health issues, like he clearly thought he has CTE and wanted the medical examiner to study his brain. Like, that's it. He wanted to survive? No, he wanted his brain to be studied. Yeah, Junior Sal did the same thing. Like, there's other people that have actually committed suicide and have left a note specifically asking for their brain to be studied. If he shot himself in the head, he wouldn't be able to get his brain studied. His CTE diagnosis only comes after death, as it stands currently. It's just, you get concussed too much, and then your brain actually turns, like, your brain size gets smaller and smaller. On May 2nd, 2012, Sal was found dead with a gunshot wound to the chest at his home in Oceanside. Authorities ruled his death a suicide. He left no suicide note, but did leave a piece of paper in the kitchen of his home with lyrics he scribbled his favorite country song, Who I Ain't. Sal deaths recalled a 2011 suicide of former NFL player Dave Duerson, who shot himself in the chest and left a suicide note requesting that his brain be studied for brain trauma. Sal had no prior reported history of concussion, but his ex-wife said he did sustain concussions during his career. He always bounced back and kept playing. And you don't have to get it in the NFL either. You can literally it can happen in high school. Like, any amount of playing football can cause it. Or not even just football, just like contact sports in general. But football is the one that's like most, where it's most common.
I know it's still very early in the investigation, Mayor. Is there any indication, at least so far, that the suspect was on the radar of any illegal authorities?
No, not at all. And what's challenging, Wolf, is that we have done an amazing job here in removing illegal guns and weapons off our streets, but this came into our city. Many of the other jurisdictions have a more lax gun policies. It appears as though this individual had a permit to obtain firearms, and we really need to look at allowing our federal law enforcement officials to look into the database of those with severe mental health illness, should they be allowed to carry firearms. This is a conversation that is going to be carried out on the federal level, but he was not on our radar.
I mean, this part is not even wrong. It's Eric Adams saying it, so it comes across as wrong no matter what, because he's the most wrong man in America, but he's not wrong. It's just like, even if you have a city where you have the proper gun control and have been able to greatly limit gun violence in your city as a consequence of proper gun control, you can't stop people bringing in firearms from other states. This is precisely the reason why Chicago has gun violence problems. The overwhelming majority, I think it's like 90% of guns that are caught, like, that are used in crimes, gun violence related crimes in Chicago, come from neighboring states.
Will they be doing an autopsy, and will authorities be testing the suspect's brain for what's called CTE?
The ME, the medical examiner here in the city, he would make that determination on the next steps in collaboration with the district attorney in Manhattan County.
It's really weird because, like, many of the factors that contribute to this are, like, there are two major factors here. One is CTE, most likely, and the other is readily available guns. Okay, accessibility of weapons, and both are no-nos because they're directly tied back to corporate profits for gun manufacturers and corporate profits for the NFL. So in this unique situation, no one wants to fucking talk about either of the real reasons as to why this is taking place. I mean, we know how this happens. It's the only country where it happens so frequently. No other country has this kind of issue. Or when it happens one time in another country, they very quickly solve it. It's not a natural disaster. It is completely avoidable. It's completely preventable. It's a matter of political will. It's a matter of the government taking the correct action in this case, which they never will. I will say this much. Zohran Mamdani had a tweet about this. He said, I'm heartbroken to learn of the horrific shooting in Midtown, and I'm holding the victims, their families, and the NYPD officer in critical condition in my thoughts. Grateful for all of our first responders on the ground. And Edward Isaac Dover, who is supposed to be an unbiased CNN reporter, had this to say. Remember, as I've said, Edward Isaac Dover is like the #1 anti-Bernie guy, absolute psychopath. Here's what he said. As the casualties of the shooting are assessed, including the Bangladeshi immigrant who was the off-duty officer killed while working security, the only statement from the New York City Dem mayoral nominee remains this tweet, sent while he is still in Uganda for wedding celebrations. He is such a bad faith hatchet man. He's such a piece of shit. Yeah. He is such a fucking bad faith piece of shit. That's why I said, I remember his name. He's always been a bad faith hack. It's also crazy because like Zohran is not the mayor currently. Eric Adams is.